Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com.
Well, fancy meeting you here. How you doing? Do you know how often I say this? It's a dreary Monday. I mean, I do. And I'm talking meteorologically. I'm not talking about your psychology of, oh, God, Monday again. It's a dreary Monday. And I think in some ways Mondays should be dreary. Because generally speaking, I mean, Monday morning would not win a contest for, favorite part of the week. There's no way, right? So it's good. You wouldn't want the sun shining. It would be, cognitively dissonant with how you were feeling. And usually what I end up saying these days is, welcome to a dreary Monday morning after another Steeler loss. But since they didn't play yesterday, I can't say that. They, of course, will play tonight. And then tomorrow, if it's dreary, I'll be saying, well, welcome to a dreary Tuesday after another... I shouldn't do that. Okay. Well, how you all? That's good. I did something very odd this weekend. I'm not really going to quite tell you what, but I did secrete myself in an undisclosed location downtown. So even though I have a bed in the East End, I paid for a bed downtown and stayed downtown all weekend, holed up in a local hotel. And this was to focus, to get rid of any distractions. And believe me, I have lots of distractions if I want them. So that I could finally just totally get this one-woman show under total... And I got a lot. I did. I wouldn't say it's totally, but it's almost now. And so I had a very productive... And I went out on Friday night, I'd say around 7-ish, just to take a walk. And what a bustling downtown that is on a Friday night. And since I went out again on Saturday night to get something to eat, the same scene. It's really gratifying to see people just going here, going there, going here, going there. They were going to a Penguin game. They were going to the theater. They were going to the opera. They were going, and the joint is jumping. And I realized as I sort of walked around and that I had never been downtown with no purpose. So that I was always one of those people who I was looking at now who were all walking somewhere. They were purposeful. They had a dinner engagement. They had a ticket in their hand for something. And when you're purposeful, you walk differently and you don't observe as much. So here I was, purposeless, and just walking, overhearing conversations, noticing things I hadn't noticed before. I was so enjoying myself because nothing ever entertains me more than just the human parade, than people. When I lived in New York City in my 20s, early 20s, I used to sometimes just get on a bus and ride for hours just so I could look at the human parade. Fascinating to me. So I had such a good time. And at one point, I saw this knot of people. And it became clear as I got closer that they were listening to a woman who was speaking on one end of this knot. And I thought, is it a political rabble-rouser? Is it a nutcase? Is it a what? And I went up And no, it was a tour guide. A tour guide, I thought, at night? But it was wonderful. She was going on and telling the history of how Alexander Berkman, the lover of the anarchist Emma Goldman, walked right into Henry Clay Frick's office with a gun, and standing right in front of him, shot and missed. Shot. I believe missed again. And I almost spoke up and said something, because this is what I was thinking. Jews don't do guns. I mean, only Alexander Berkman, this hapless, Jewish immigrant, could get a gun, stand 3 inches in front of the guy he wants to kill, and not manage it. Said Jews and guns. I mean, But I bit my tongue. I did. What fun! So finally I realized that these people had probably paid to go on this tour. So I said to somebody, I said, excuse me, how much did you pay for this? And he said, $15. I said, okay, well then, I really shouldn't. So I skedaddled away and found another tour. There was another one. It was just a half block away. And I listened to that. And amazingly, they were telling the same story. It was the same tour, but a different group. And I moseyed up to an older gentleman and I said, you pay $15 for this? And he said, yeah. I said, well, I was eavesdropping over there. I said, I'm way ahead of where you are right now, buddy. I said, do you want me to give you a quick? And he looked at me like I was insane. So I left. Sometimes people, if you're feeling, when I'm in that mood where I love watching people, I'm much more expansive than I normally am. And so I was feeling so good that when I went back to the hotel and got in the elevator, this family got in with me. It was a man, a woman, and a daughter, I'd say about 18 or 19, and they were dressed to the nines. And I looked at them, I took it all in, and as the door closed, I said to them, you guys are looking good. And you know what followed? This uncomfortable silence. Uncomfortable silence! I said, you guys are looking good, and they didn't know what to do. They thought they were in an elevator with a mad woman. Finally, the guy said, we're going to a wedding. And as thank God, my floor came up and I got out, I said, well, you are looking good. You uptight jerks. Some people are so uptight. Do I seem threatening? For God's sake, I'm an old gray-haired woman. You guys are looking good. Oh my God, a stranger's talking to us in an elevator in a city. All right. As usual, there's lots of news. First of all, let's just take care of the Ebola stuff first, okay? Yay! A whole bunch of people who had contact with poor Mr. deceased Duncan guy have finished their 21 days. They did not get up, but what's amazing is that all the people in the apartment with him before when he was very actively ill, none of them got Ebola. The woman who slept in the bed with him did not get Ebola. And yet, they closed a school in Mississippi because the principal had just returned from Zambia. Zambia, a country that is not in any way affected by Ebola. But it's Africa. You see this racial aspect to it. I mean, you see this, oh my God, he's been to Africa. We're all going to die. People are amazing. I'll tell you, something like this separates, you find out who you wouldn't want to be in a foxhole with. The middle school principal in Mississippi, who was declared absolutely healthy as a horse by the CDC, said he will agree to take a paid vacation for 21 days. He's probably thinking, woo-hoo! I was just over in Africa having fun. Now I came back and I get a 21-day paid vacation because these idiots whose children I teach think I'm going to kill them. Also last week, a teacher at an elementary school in Strong, Maine, obviously a misnomer, was placed on 21-day paid leave. And why was that? This one's even more amazing. The teacher was not allowed in the classroom and was asked to go away for 21 days to ensure he or she, don't know what, did not have Ebola. And you know why? Because he'd traveled to Dallas for a conference. He'd been in Dallas. Who played the Dallas Cowboys this weekend? I think the Giants, New York Giants. Boy, are they brave. Because, you know, during a football game, bodily fluids can be exchanged. Sweat, tears, blood. And the New York Giants had the grit to get on a field with all those guys from Dallas. Man, I'll never look at the Giants as one, the aptly named the Giants. Jeez. And then even more ridiculously, and I can't quite remember this because this happened earlier, Syracuse University actually disinvited a speaker that was coming who I think had been in Liberia, I don't know, a photographer or something, and wouldn't even let him come to the campus to speak. People are insane. The New York Times has an article today about how in Liberia, where this is a true threat, people are calm. People are dealing with it. Over in the United States, where this is a minuscule threat, people are freaked out. It doesn't speak well of us. It doesn't speak well of our character. It doesn't speak well of our emotional intelligence, our psychological stability. It doesn't speak well of our empathy. It doesn't speak well of our, did I get to intelligence yet? Maybe. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed for us. I always am in these cases. So, my collar? Oh, you're not not supposed to be paying attention to my clothes. You're supposed to be paying attention to the words of wisdom coming out of my sizable mouth. Ansel writes, Lynn, your shirt collar seems to be having a bad Monday. Look what you did, Ansel. God almighty. And you know what? It's worse than you think because it came unplugged. This has never happened before. I don't even know where to put it. Wait a minute. I'll figure it out. It must go in here. Yeah. There. Okay. Okay, Ansel. Now you won't be... All right. You won't be... There. How's that? So... One more thing on Ebola. One more thing. One quick. And this has to do with the president, the White House. I believe I did a little of this last week, but I'm sorry. I'm going to do a little more because I am angry at him. I'm mad at him. And you know I love the guy. I don't love him as much as I used to, but I mean, I'm mad at him. Frank Bruni's been writing stuff. He's mad at him too, and he's saying everything I'm feeling. I'll give you just one paragraph from Frank Bruni because I could have said this. Obama's style of communication has not risen fully to the occasion. That's putting it mildly. Remember when we thought this guy was the greatest speaker ever? It's how he came to our attention. His keynote speech at the Democratic Convention. When he was a nobody, he was a state senator from Illinois, and he got up and blew everybody away. And then his speech on race, and then his speech after he won the first time. I mean, this guy is capable of passion and of incredible oratorical muscularity. But where's it been? It's like he's defeated. It's like he's deflated. It's like he's demoralized. It's like he's phoning it in. He's just, he's tired. I can tell. I feel for him in many ways, but hey, he's the one who wanted 4 more years. He knew exactly what he was getting into. Exactly. And if he didn't have the oomph to do it, he shouldn't have run for re-election. Let the oomph Hillary do it. She never runs out of oomph. So Bruni says he just can't tolerate anymore this strange dispassion of his. This sort of maddening distance is what Bruni said. And this is all about perception. It's my perception, Bruni's perception, everybody. Perception is so important when you have a leadership role. And he is not paying attention to that at all. He's MIA. He's missing in action. And you don't want the commander-in-chief missing in action. Listen to what some Democratic strategist told Bruni. If you were his parent, you'd want to shake him. Yeah, it's like you want to say, wake up! One of the most vital functions of the presidency is that communication role. That as the president, you exemplify the father or the mother. You exemplify the authority figure. And when a country is in a state of panic, you step in, and you don't do it with the way he's doing it, just ain't getting through it all. You could argue, well, with this media, with these Republicans, yeah. But he knew it. He knows this. And I feel like he's worn out. Democrats are supposed to be the competent ones when it comes to government. Republicans, like Katrina, you just throw up your hands and say, you put Republicans in control of government and this is what you get. They don't believe in government. So, of course, all those agencies are, headed by idiots. Nobody's doing the work. It's Democrats who know how to do government. And yet, Obama's government doesn't seem to be working very well. The VA. I mean, these are, and now the CDC. That's a scary one because that has an effect on all of us. Yes, I know we have no Surgeon General, and we have no Surgeon General because the Republicans will not approve of the one that Obama wants. Oh, big shock. And they won't approve of this Attorney General for a very strange reason. He doesn't like guns. It's the NRA that has put the kibosh on this. We haven't had an Attorney General for, I think, years. Huh?
Surgeon or attorney?
Surgeon General. Did I say? I said attorney? Surgeon General. We're almost out an Attorney General, too, for that matter. I'd like to see anybody appointed to that. Can't do that either. Our government is really in terrible crisis, and the president seems to be, as I said, MIA. Americans are feeling no confidence, and that's where a president has to come in. Hello?
Hi, Lynn.
Hi.
Hey, here we go again.
Hmm.
The Democrats are going to get mad at the president. I'm not going to come out and vote in the midterms. Shoot ourselves in the foot. Why do we do that every time? I don't like everything the president does, but you want a Republican back in there?
Hell no.
Please.
But I mean,
That's
doesn't
what
it?
they do every
Yeah.
time. Now, all the Democrats are writing all this shit in them, articles and all that are against the president. You can't blame it all on the president. He can only do so much. And I don't like everything he does either. But I realize he's better than any Republican.
Yeah, I would agree. But he's falling short right now.
Yes, he is, but you can't blame it all on him.
You don't think I should say this publicly? I'll whisper it into each of your ears so that we don't, add to the negativity surrounding him. No, I agree, but this midterm we're heading into, oh God, oh help us. Yeah, this is just setting up to be a perfect storm. Bad news. If he
read
could,
an article about the Latinos and the Puerto Ricans. They're mad at him, so they're not going to come out.
That's because of immigration, right?
Shoot yourself in the foot again.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Thank you. I understand. But I'm just saying what I'm feeling. Paul writes he was taken aback by my chastising of the gay man who emailed me. My mouth actually dropped open at your comments. Well, let me just tell you, and I think the gay man who I chastised wrote me back after the show, and I can't remember the entire email, but I remember the first two words, and they were, "Thank you." So he was not offended. He understood my point. My point was simply, hey, I'm talking about little children who have nowhere near the opportunity that you do. And stop whining. He said you were right. Essentially, that's what he said. You were right. So all the rest of you who are angry about what I said or were jaw-droppingly stunned, understand that the guy who it was directed at didn't see it that way. Okay? David writes, we need to change the last line of the national anthem from the land of the free and the home of the bedwetters. Okay. He said Bill Maher said something else, but it's such a disgusting kind of a image, I don't want to talk about it. Yeah, it's unseemly. It is. Americans. Wait, I'm trying to knock this out so I can actually see your emails. Okay, so what else we got? Oh, my favorite story. I don't mean to make light of this. This has to do with, that again. A man attacking a woman in a domestic dispute. Yeah. Ho-hum, ho-hum, ho-hum. The reason this one is not ho-hum, in case you missed it, is the woman who was attacked is one of Allegheny County's leading prosecutors, Lisa Pellegrini. She's a woman in her 50s. She got a boyfriend. She ended up in the hospital. And here's the other irony. Oh, wait. She's, by the way, today, I think the trial opens today. She's the leading prosecutor in this big murder trial today, that opens today, of the Pitt professor charged with poisoning his Pitt researcher wife with cyanide. You know the case. It's a big case. Lisa Pellegrini is going to be handling that case for the prosecution, but I guess on Friday she was at Mercy Hospital with head and arm injuries that she allegedly received at the hands of a guy named Ray Berg, who is the owner of Berg's In the Berg restaurant in the Manor building. Where's the Manor building? Downtown. It's downtown. Which one is it? Anyway, this is a place, a burger joint, and that's her boyfriend. And here's the ironic thing. This restaurant, Berg's in the Berg, owned by the guy that she says knocked her head a number of times into the dashboard of his car, is scheduled to host a fundraiser for the Center for Victims this Friday. So Lisa Pellegrini, who could well be a client now of the Center for Victims, is dating the owner of Berg's in the Berg, and that's going to be the site of the fundraiser for the Center for Victims. Oh, give me a break. You know, you don't want to believe that a prosecutor would be dating a guy like that. You don't want to believe. I don't even get that. And then, of all the restaurants in the whole damn world, the Center for Victims is going to be, I mean, not that they would know. Jeez. I was blown away by that. Bill's got something he wants to say. Okay, Bill. Bill says, Lynn, as a gay man, I applaud what you said to that man. We are men. They are children. Get the F over yourself. That's essentially what I said, I believe. And then Bill says, this is called equality. You would have said the same thing to anyone. Yeah, and so would I. Your being a gay man doesn't have anything to do. Well, first of all, his premise was incorrect. He said, I said people should mentor at this place. People should mentor these children. You should do that. And he said, they wouldn't even take me because I'm a gay man. He was feeling very discriminated against. And I knew that that was not true. That, in fact, one of the mentors I saw at that event was a gay man. So, yeah, we all live in our own little sea of grievance and identification. I do as well, where sometimes we're not as rational as we should be. I mean, sometimes our own, I don't know. I mean, I know I have my own little bubble of, grievance where I feel put upon and victimized. And most people do. But I think little children whose parent is incarcerated would trump all of us in terms of struggles ahead of them. That was my point. And that you have to step out of your own bubble on occasion. That's all. All right. Pretty enough. I just love Frances McDormand, the actress, Fargo. Frances McDormand, and we've got a caller. Yes? We do. Okay, hang on. Hello?
Morning, Lynn.
Hi.
Hey, Lynn, Parakeet Man here.
What?
Parakeet Man here.
Oh! Please have good news.
Yeah, well, kind of, but I want to give a shout out to a company in Millville. The name of the company is Pretty Birds. He gave me a free cage yesterday to see if I could capture my pretty blue friend.
Yeah.
Here's the crazy thing. Every bird is going in the cage except for my buddy. He's looking at that cage. I just looked at it about 2 minutes ago. He's looking at the cage, and birds are flying in and out of the cage. They're coming in and getting the food. They're having a good old time. It's like a jungle gym for the birds, except for Pretty Bird. He doesn't like it.
Well, you know why? Because he knows what a cage is.
I know.
Those other birds are wild. They don't know. He sees a cage and says, oh, no, not that. What are you going to do? How about a net?
It's the funniest. Well, the guy did tell me, the guy from Pretty Birds told me that he could, since he's been out in the wild for 3 or 4 months, he could possibly be acclimated, and he could possibly make it through the winter, because he said if it would just happen recently, like within the last couple of days, that would be kind of scary because he'd be not acclimatized. But he seems to be fine. I just looked outside about 5 minutes ago. He was looking at the cage, but he has not gone into it. Other birds, like I said, they fly around. They're having it's like a jungle gym for them. They're having a great time. They can't get out. Like they go to the back of it where you can't get in at, and they're trying to peek in. Then they go around to the side. Then they always said, "Oh my God, if I go in the front door, I can sneak in, eat the food." And I see a couple of them in there sometimes flying around, and they're talking to each other. But and I have this other bird feeder that's like a kind of a roof, looks like a little house. He sat on top of the house this morning and just for like 5 minutes just looking at the cage like, what the hell's going on? I'm not falling for that trick. So I don't know what he has. Need to lighten your day up. I mean, we have enough. I hear all these things every day. I'm thinking, oh my God, I pull my hair out, all this different stuff, Ebola and this and that, and Democrats, Republicans. Well, not Democrats. Well, Democrats that aren't doing their job, and Republicans are trying to take power and calling President Ebola. I mean, the world is, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, but you've got your own troubles.
I know.
You got a parakeet in your backyard. You're trying to save him, and he is not cooperating. I don't know what to tell you. Man, you're waging the good fight.
I'm trying out there. He's causing me, my wife's going crazy. She goes, what the hell? You worry about this bird more than anything? I said, this is the biggest problem in my life, but I have fun with it. You gotta have fun and laugh, or else you're going to nut house.
I know, but you're so the cage works only if you see the bird in the cage and run out and slam the door on him.
Thing too, yeah. That's exactly because it's.
So what are you sitting there for hours, glued to your window, looking at that cage?
I work from my home, so I look out the window and I have a bird's eye view of the situation. I just observe. I just constantly looking out, observing. That's right. I got to run outside. If it does, I got to sneak up.
That's not going to work.
Without the cage.
Yeah.
About 3 feet apart, and I talk to him, and he's talking to me, but it gets really crazy because beside the house there's all kind of hedges.
Yeah.
At times, like my wife said one time, she thought she's getting like me. She's getting good like me. She's starting to think she can understand what the birds are talking about. It's like a big meeting. It's like, you ever hear a loud restaurant?
Oh, yeah. Like inside, they get in the hedges.
Yeah, and they go,
and they're going nuts.
These big discussions. I don't know. I guess probably like we're doing about the Democrats and Republicans.
Right.
What are we going to do?
I know.
Whatever the birds, whatever their hawks or whatever they're worried about.
Well, there are certain birds that do. That's where they live, in hedges. That's where they are. Those little teeny birds. Well, maybe I don't know. I hope you can get the dang little thing.
Well, say a prayer for my friend, Lynn, please.
I am. I'm on your side.
I know. We're all pulling for him.
We're all pulling for him. What do you call him? You call him Pretty Bird?
Yeah, I guess I'll call him Pretty Bird. Why not?
Pretty obstinate bird.
Pretty smart bird.
Yeah, pretty smart bird, too. Okay.
Good talking to you, Lynn.
Great to talk to you. Good luck. Yeah, I'm and the ongoing saga of Pretty Bird, a story you will only hear right here. Hey, all right. Chuck. Lynn, Congress blocking Obama nominees is nothing new, and Dr. Vivek Murthy's, I guess that's the Surgeon General nominee, his only mistake was taking a stand on guns. Right. But he was asked, I think, right? Somebody asked him, what do you think about guns? And if he had just remained neutral and not offered an opinion, he'd be approved by now. My criticism of Obama in this situation is that he hasn't simply nominated someone else. I mean, after 8 months of gridlock on the issue, let's just abandon this election. All right, he said he thought guns killed people. Well, we can't have that. We'll have to have someone else. By the way, we do have an acting Surgeon General. His name is Boris Lushniak. And so where has this guy been during all? Do you remember who the president first wanted as his Attorney General? Did I keep saying attorney again? Thank you, Celine. Celine is on it. Listening. Yeah, I appreciate that. Do you know Obama? You remember who he first wanted as his Surgeon General? Sanjay Gupta, who's been all over. See, I mean, this is his. And I was thinking about that the other day as Sanjay Gupta was very, quietly explaining dispassionately the realities of infection and blah, blah, blah. And I was thinking, geez, I mean, this guy could have been the Surgeon General. But in fact, he didn't take the job because he thought he actually has more people listen to him as the medical expert on CNN than would if he were a Surgeon General. And you know what? I think that's probably true. So, we have a caller. Hello? Hello, caller.
Hi, Lynn.
Hi.
Hey, so you know why I won't listen to Sanjay Gupta, or why I didn't want him to, or would not like him to be Attorney General?
Why?
Because of his backtracking on marijuana. You remember that whole deal?
Well, that's not backtracking. I thought he was against legalization, and then he got further educated, and then he said I was wrong. How's that backtracking?
He put out an opinion without being fully informed.
All right, but
and because he is who he is, people listen to him. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Well, but what I liked is that he admitted he was wrong and now is actively on the other side.
After the damage is done. Well, that's nice. Hindsight is 20/20.
I don't agree.
But what do you want Obama to do? I mean, the guy. I think everybody should read Paul Carson's article first of all. That he's been accused of kissing Obama's ass for writing, saying that. How many important things Obama has accomplished.
Yes. And
has. They're real things.
Yeah, they're real things, like affordable care and which, yeah. I mean, he has done things. This is all true. But, you know, I was thinking of something once when I was interviewing Senator Casey, and he was sitting, well, it wasn't in this studio, but he was sitting right across from me. And the way he speaks drives me crazy. Because Casey is like, it's not just monotone. It's like, to me, it's like,
I don't know. Very good impression.
I just think it's almost sort of like it just drives me wild. And I had asked him a question, and he was saying, well, Lynn, I really think that, and I lost it. And I slammed he jumped. I slammed my fist into the... I said, for God's sakes, I said, will you show some passion? And I must admit, he had a good answer. He said, that's what my wife says.
But here's the thing. Do you want someone who sounds dispassionate, but is informed on the topic and is making well thought out, good critical thinking decisions?
Yes, I'd rather have him. But, you know, the job is so impossible. It has so many things you're supposed to be good at. And I know he's capable of being good at this one thing that he's been letting us down on, which is to be the
oration on topics that concern us. But here's the thing: why, if Ebola is not a major concern, which it's not right now. The only major concern about Ebola right now is that people are irrationally worried about it.
Well, it's a major concern in Africa, and it has to be stopped. That we have to get that under control. I agree that it's not a major concern in this country.
I mean, the only thing him speaking about it, well, first of all, 50% of the population is not going to listen to him anyway. And 20% of that 50% thinks he wants us to get Ebola.
Jeez, we're doomed.
Yeah, so, right. I mean, why waste the energy? Why waste the time?
Yeah.
I mean, we know the situation. We don't. He's only going to be speaking to us anyway.
But don't you agree that he doesn't seem to want to be there anymore?
No, you know what? He does, and he's doing things that are important. And he knows what's important, and he knows what needs to be done. And some of the things that he wants to do, he'll never get done because of the Republicans.
Well, and he's going to have a harder, I mean, the next 2 years, I mean, if this Congress goes fully Republican, which it very well may, what are his odds of getting anything
Nothing.
done?
And you know, the fact of the matter is he's still working hard. I believe he's still working hard. And all the Democrats are jumping ship on him. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's absolutely disgusting. What do people want from the guy? You tie his hands as much as possible, and then you say, well, you're not doing anything.
No, you're right. I take back absolutely everything I ever said about him.
I mean, yeah, it's just, and believe me, I have not been a super fan of his all along. I voted for him excitedly both times.
Me too.
And there are things that let me down about him.
Me too.
But I will never say oh, he's just blowing it big time. He's not doing. No, it all needs to be in perspective. My dogs are going to start barking, so thank you, Lynn.
That's right. Take the dog out. Goodbye. It's always dangerous to say anything negative about Obama with this audience. I'm just saying. Oh. Hey, I loved what the Post-Gazette did with this thing on Sunday in the paper. Did you see this? They did it's a special report, which actually the second story on it is in today's paper, written by someone you may know, Chris Potter. So this is a story he's working on. But this is the front page of the local section, the region section in Sunday's paper. And look what they did. They did a graphic novel-y kind of thing, which is pretty damn cool. Totally cool. I find the subject very complicated and my head spins, but it's about paid informants and how the feds use these guys all the time to, get some drug dealer. But they're looking at, these paid informants are the lowest of the low. I mean, these are scumbags. These are themselves dealers who get paid to turn on somebody. I mean, how you can trust, I don't know. Who illustrated it? Well, a guy who's on their staff and whose work I've always loved. I don't know how to pronounce it. Marsula. Daniel Marsula. One of the illustrators. Really, really great. I'd like to see more of that. It's a good way for them to use their new color capabilities. All right. Oh, as I was saying, I love Frances McDormand, as I was saying. The actress, married to one of the Coen brothers, who grew up in... So I'll never get to Frances McDormand. Okay, we got to call her. Hello.
Good morning, Lynn.
Good morning, Clarence.
I was trying to do Barack Obama.
Oh, that did sound a little like him, yes. Oh, good, yes. Go ahead.
I guess I could do it. If I try hard enough. But I'm calling. Let me quit that because I'll make myself laugh. You're not the only Democrat talking about Obama and him not, doing what they want him to do or what they think he should do.
Oh, yeah, right.
And I said to the other tall, very tall hippie who used to call your show, said, dude, stop projecting. Let him do what he does.
Yeah.
You want him to do things, and you think he should do things because he's not doing them. He's upsetting you, and you have these expectations and things that he's going to do this, and you were wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I have my expectations too. I'm like, oops, he's not doing what I expected him to do. But
you're right. You're right.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I know. I mean, like we want him to be all things to all of us. I mean, it's an impossible. What we want from him is impossible.
And that's the thing. It's the trying to predict the future. Oh, this is going to happen, and this is now that he's here. This is going to happen, and I'm sure he had the same thing in his brain. And he gets there, and goes, "Oops, didn't see that coming." There's Ebola. Oops, didn't see that coming. What? Syria is like killing people. Didn't see that coming. Russia's going into here. Oops, didn't see that coming. So everything that he had in his brain didn't work out either. So he has to change the way he does
mess.
It.
It's a mess.
Right.
It's an impossible job, made more impossible by, our totally dysfunctional now government.
And I really think that this whole midterm election thing, that this is the stuff that scares me. And the other guy was talking about. I won't say scares.
Right.
And that's that people who would normally vote Democratic don't go out.
No, they don't. They never do. It's a problem. Democrats don't vote in the midterm elections, which destroy us constantly, and we still don't get it. And they're targeting African Americans and Native Americans, thinking that this is, the Democrats, thinking that might be the difference, which is why the Republicans are desperately trying to, get these voter ID laws through, because that depresses a lot of the African American vote.
Yeah, and all minorities. Poor minorities.
Right,
women,
poor and minorities. Right.
Yeah, and
right.
all the people who normally vote Democratic.
Right,
and
exactly.
For 2016, the thing I'm pushing for is by 2020 we have some kind of computer drawing the districts. That, to me, is the biggest
Wouldn't that
problem,
be
huh?
something? Yeah, I know it is. Gerrymandering is the problem.
Yeah.
I don't know what we do about it.
And,
Because state legislatures, this is where Democrats really don't give a damn. It's the state legislatures it's the states that draw the districts, not the feds.
Yeah.
So if you keep allowing Harrisburg and the states, all the capitals, to be run by Republicans, they're going to rig through redistricting and gerrymandering the system so that they will always hold the Congress of the United States and the legislatures.
Yeah, and
They're doing it.
The one thing that changes that is people moving into districts that they don't expect.
Well, that's
They're moving
right.
in,
That's happening in the South as
Yeah.
People go south. That some of these places are starting to change. That's true. So, well, I ain't moving. I'm staying right here.
And let me finish with Barack Obama doing Ball of Confusion. No, I'm like,
No.
people moving out, people moving in. Why? Just because of the color of the skin. Run, run, run. But you sure can't hide. Okay.
You're out of here.
All right, goodbye.
Bye. All right, if anyone interrupts me, you're dead. I love Frances McDormand, actress. Fargo, and a bunch of other ones. And she's got an HBO series that's going to be coming out. Series or... Anyway, and one of the great moments of my life is when I got to sit down with her and meet her and be in a production with her over at QED a few years ago. And what a hard work and tough, wonderful character she is. She grew up. Her father was an itinerant fundamentalist minister. And she spent a lot of her childhood, I want to say, in... I can't remember which little depressed steel town on the Mon it was, but she's from here and identifies with this place. And that this itinerant minister's daughter married this Jew. And that marriage is one of, you don't see a lot of Hollywood marriages working. They've been together for a long, long time. I think 35 years. Yes. So anyway, in this, the Times did a piece on her labeled "A Star Who Has No Time for Vanity." And boy, is that, the night that I met her, she walked in, she looked like holy hell. And I think I told you, I could not believe not a stitch of makeup. She had on the most horrible clothes you ever saw. She looked like if you saw her on the street, you'd think she was, one step removed from a bag lady. And it's because she doesn't give a damn about any of that stuff, I guess. Anyway, for her role, she has to be older and this and that. And I just want to read to you something she said about women and aging in America. Here's what she said. There's no desire in our country to be an adult. Adulthood is not a goal anymore. It's not seen as a gift. Something happened culturally. No one is supposed to age past 45. Sartorially, cosmetically, attitudinally. Everybody dresses like a teenager. Everybody dyes their hair. Everybody is concerned about a smooth face. I have not mutated, she says. This is how she sees it when women do things to themselves. I have not mutated myself in any way. Joel, that's her husband, and I have this conversation a lot. He literally has to stop me physically from saying something to people, to friends who've had work done. I'm so full of fear and rage. about what they've done. Looking old should be a boast about experiences accrued and insights acquired. A triumphant signal that you are someone who beneath that white hair has a card catalog of valuable information. And I just want to say this. Frances McDormand, yes! Yes! God bless you. And she does say, lucky her, she does say, I've been with a man for 35 years, that's Joel Cohen, who looks at me and loves what he sees. The next line is sort of funny. It wasn't meant to be. Joel Cohen was not available for an interview. Yeah, he was making a movie or something. Anyway, so David writes, every day I wake up and thank God Obama is president, and not Bush, not McCain, not Romney, or heaven forbid Sarah Palin. All right. Can you imagine? The Republicans actually elevated that okay, I'll just leave it blank. You can come up with a noun and a few adjectives in front of it. They nominated that as vice president, potentially, of these United States when the president they proffered is an old man. They put that woman in position to lead this country. That alone should disqualify the entire party from any reasonable expectation that they are competent to run this country. I want to point out before it's too late, it's too late. Jeez. Maybe I'll talk about it tomorrow. I so love what usually when the chairman of the Fed speaks, you don't understand. They speak in Swahili. I mean, not Swahili. That's not right. They speak in, I don't know what they're talking about. It's not English. But Janet Yellen, first woman to head the Federal Reserve, is speaking. And she actually spoke English. And not only did she speak English, but wow. She sees that this country's increasing inequality of opportunity is probably the biggest danger facing it. Janet Yellen, the head of the Fed, she doesn't think Ebola is the biggest threat. She doesn't think ISIS is the biggest threat. She doesn't think the Russians are, or the Taliban, or Al-Qaeda, or even climate change. She says the biggest threat is growing inequality. God bless her. And that's what you get when you let a woman finally take a job like that. And before I head into some feminist, I am woman, hear me roar. Okay, that'll be it. And tomorrow, I think my sister's going to be joining me right before she gets on the airplane. She wasn't going to be able to do it, but she's doing it. And that's that. And that's that. Have a good one. Toodaloo.